Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Root Beer here, looking at question number 3 on our 2018 Canadian Senior Paper. A jar contains 6 crayons, of which 3 are red, 2 are blue, and 1 is green. Jacob reaches into the jar and randomly removes 2 of the crayons. What is the probability that both of these crayons are red? Okay, so how many ways are there to reach into the box and pull out crayons, period? Okay. Now you might say, well, you could pick out 2 reds, or a red and a green, or I think the other color was red and blue, or you could pick out 2 greens. You can't pick out 2 blues, however. So you might say there's only 4 ways to pick out the crayons. And, you know, in a sense, there's sort of 4 categories we can put the... Oh, sorry, I forgot green-blue, so that'd be 5. Just write that down now. But, you know, there's sort of 4 categories, but they're not all equally likely. There's a lot more red than there are blue, so it's more likely I'm going to pick out a red. So rather than just trying to think of the pairs of colors that could be pulled out, what we actually want to do is figure out the number of ways we can pull things out. So there's 6 crayons. How many ways are there to pick out 2 crayons? Okay, well, if you know combinatorics, that's 6 choose 2. If not, it's 6 times 5 over 2. That's the number of ways to pick out 2 crayons. We don't care which one we pick first out of the 2 crayons. That's why we end up dividing by 2. So it's going to be 15 ways to pick out 2 crayons. Okay. Well, that's great. We're looking for probability. We want so our probability is going to be something out of 15. And the number we put on top, we're going to count the number of things that we're interested in this particular question. There's 2 blues and 1 green. I'll change that when I go back. In this particular question, we want both crayons to be red. So what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we dump out the 2 blue and the 1 green, and we've got just 3 red crayons in there. How many ways are there to pick 2 out of those 3 red crayons? Okay. Now, if you are thinking to yourself, well, if there's 3 red crayons, how many ways are there to pick 2 red crayons? Well, 1. You just pick out 2 red crayons. Imagine for a moment that the reds and blues and greens, they're different shades. And that way you can actually tell the reds apart. You know, there's poppy red and I don't know, blood red and what's another red? Light red, doesn't really matter. Maroon maybe or something like that. You know, maybe there's sky blue and robin's egg blue and olive green. But imagine that they're different shades, and so it actually matters which of the 2 reds you pick out. You're still picking out 2 reds, but that might help if you're having trouble crossing this barrier of you've got 3 red crayons in there. How many ways are there to pick out 2 red crayons? Well, just the 1. You pick out 2. Imagine they're different, and that might be a little more helpful. Okay? So if we do just imagine we've just got 3 red crayons, how many ways are there to pick out 2 of those red crayons? Well, same sort of work. 3 times 2, so 3 crayons for the first pick, 2 crayons for the next pick, but divide by 2 because we just care which crayons we have in the end. We don't care which one we picked first, and that'll end up being 3. So there's 3 ways to pick 2 red crayons out of the box, and 15 ways to pick 2 crayons out of the box. Let me just correct this blue thing. Okay, and that's going to simplify to 1/5. So 1/5 of the time, if I pull 2 crayons out of the box, I should expect both of them to be red. So that's going to be our final answer. And we can move right along to our next question, and that'll be question A4.